Hello, and happy Valentine's Day to you out there in podcast land and YouTube land. Welcome to the Real Short Box. And with my three Short Box brothers, we have Don, we have Jarrett, and we have Chris. How are you doing today, gentlemen?
A-okay, Kevin.
You look really happy, Jarrett. It looks like you had a very good Valentine's Day. You look so happy, so refreshed, so fresh and so clean.
You know, Kevin, I can complain.
Complain? Why, Chris? What are you complaining about, Professor Turner?
I just can complain.
Oh, you got a great background. You look happy. The background looks happy with all those pink
I'm happy because it's almost over. I've never been a big fan of this holiday. If you call it a holiday or a dolladay, that works because a lot of people buying dolls today. This holiday, thanks for calling this a dolladay.
Look, this holiday is important. A lot of commerce is
a lot of babies being made.
A lot of babies will be made today and tonight. I mean, this is a very important day.
Tonight.
A lot of engagements tonight. Exactly. Think how the florists are doing today. They're making so much money. I mean, next to Mother's Day, this is like the highest grossing day for a floral shop.
A lot of babies won't be born tonight too if people practice safe sex.
That's true too. That's a good point, Jared. Very good point.
Just saying.
Cover your stump before you hump.
America.
Yeah.
What'd you say, Don?
I said cover your stump before you hump.
Yes, indeed. Now, these are for those who are 18 and above, of course. This information that the gentlemen are giving out, for adults only. But, I think it's still a day that people are happy. People give out chocolates. I mean, it's a good day to get chocolate. Chocolate's good for you. I love chocolate, especially chocolate chip cookies.
I had some yummy gummy hearts. They were like cherry and strawberry, and they were mwah.
Oh,
nice.
Wonderful.
I got a something here. Hang on. Let me hobble over and get it. Oh, this is from my mom.
Oh. Does that say cuddly cuties?
It says Love Bandit.
Is that a raccoon?
It is a raccoon, yeah.
Awesome. You don't see many chocolate raccoons.
No, you don't. Gentlemen, I posted on our social media, so please forward that and post around and let everybody know.
All right, we will spread the word.
Yeah. And I'm going to get in the mood here, so to speak, everybody. I got my candle lit. If you can't see it, it's right here, baby. Oh, yeah, look at that. My sexy candle. I got my eye mask, or as I like to call it, my can't see you cover.
I didn't know they still make those things.
They do. This one actually smells like chamomile. It's quite lovely. And it says, chase your dreams.
Speaking of being old, as we were saying before, I've been drinking a lot of chamomile tea lately, and I just adore it.
How do you now, honey?
He's old as shit.
Blanket on me and just have my cup of tea.
Jarrett,
runneth over, does it not?
I know it's probably a little cooler there than it is in LA, but it was 6 degrees, I think, earlier today, where I'm at. So
my mom just told me it was 14 degrees in New York. So yeah, the eastern coast or northeast and the part of the Midwest is pretty cold, pretty frigid out there.
We're freezing. 26 here in Texas.
Wow. It's the reason that we're freezing.
We're freezing. And meanwhile, Jared's enjoying 80-degree weather in his part of Hawaii.
It's cold here, but like not anything you guys are dealing with. Mm-hmm. So I'll just shut my mouth.
We have a few people here. We have Enrique. We have Bonnie, and we have Maria. So hello, all three of you.
Hello, everybody.
Happy Valentine's Day. And as far as Valentine's Day, I know that some of us have significant others. Some of us do not. Chris, I've already given you yours. So, Kevin, my friend, my brother from another mother, my part-time lover, the oats to my hall.
I don't know. Everyone knows that I'm a monk.
This is for you, my friend. This says, you're my Valentine, pass it on.
Is that from Animaniacs?
That's Tiny Toons.
This is a Tiny Toons adventure from
Tiny Toons.
1997, my friend, that I found up here in my old bedroom where I am podcasting from tonight.
25 years ago. Wow.
That's for you, my friend.
From your classroom is like sad that they never got that card. They're like,
F him. He didn't deserve it.
So cruel. So cruel.
It's a good Valentine's, Kevin. You should be appreciative. Hello, Mom. Everybody say hello to my mom and dad.
Hi,
Mom and Dad.
Mrs. McKinney.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Yes, happy Valentine's Day to them.
It was 90 degrees in LA this weekend, Maria says. Good Lord and gravy, people.
Really?
Cool
I
off.
didn't feel it. It was 90 degrees. I didn't feel it.
That's because your heart's still frozen, Kevin. You need to warm it off.
Well, sometimes you're cold-hearted. You can't help it.
So, with this candle lit, I just want to let you all know that I love you. And I can love you for a price.
Well, everyone has a price.
That's right.
Is
What's
it like
yours?
A quarter?
A quarter?
And speaking of love, I just want to mention Splattered Frog Brewing. Because I love their beers. Kevin, we can't see nothing. There we go. They have some of the best beers around. And if you are ever so lucky to get a hold of one of these really hard to find beers right now, you will be in love with Josh Turner for making such a delicious beer. Now, you go to splatteredfrog.com. On their website, you type in the code SHORTBOX. You get 20% off your order. Now, he's not shipping beer right now through the mail, but he is shipping hats like Kevin's showing you right now. He's shipping shirts. He's shipping pint-sized glasses. Once I believe they're coming in here soon-ish, if I recall, like a week or two. They should be in. So, please, do us a solid and send some love to our sponsor, Splattered Frog. I'm going to go ahead and put their website in.
Company too. Support your Texas-based companies.
There's the website. And here's the coupon. There we go. 20% off, short box. So, we have something a little fun tonight. I believe, if I recall, it was all about our favorite film and television couples. Am I correct, gentlemen?
Yeah. Yes.
But before we get started, let's talk really quickly about maybe a couple that didn't make the list. Not what we were going to do as our alternative, but just a couple that we would have liked to have put on the favorite couple list, but they didn't quite make it. I know one of you said, I think it was Peter and Lois Griffith from Family Guy. I think it was you, Jarrett. Am I correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Peter and Lois are a cool a couple as far as, animated. We have other animated couples, so we kind of had to push them to the side, and you'll see why. Another couple I had in mind on the opposite side of the spectrum, although still pretty racy, would be Mickey and Mallory Knox from Natural Born Killers. Not the couple you want to invite to dinner because they'd probably kill you or rob you or do something sadistic. But, on their own, in their own time, they seem to be pretty happy in love, after murdering her family and several other people. So, thanks, Mickey and Mallory. That would be some of my honorable mentions there.
Okay. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. I have an odd one. They're not a terrible couple. They're actually a really good couple, but they're not romantic in any way, if this makes sense. And I'm going to go with the Tick and Arthur.
Good platonic couple. Yeah,
very, very solid, very good platonic couple that just love each other. I mean, how else? Think of it as a standpoint of Arthur. How are you going to stay with somebody like the Tick and follow his buffoonery and his just sheer craziness unless you absolutely love the man and what he does for justice? And I feel like that's a love that will never die. And I'm all in on that. So, to the Tick and to Arthur, this sip's for you guys.
Spoon!
Spoon, baby. Chris?
I'm gonna go to one of my favorite all-time favorite movies, which I think is super romantic. We're gonna go with Love Actually here, and I'm gonna go with a couple of Colin Firth's character and the Portuguese waitress. It's the best. It's the best love story in the whole movie, and I still quote that some scenes from that movie to this day because it's the most romantic out of all the love stories.
And fantastic to watch live. I'm going to reiterate that again. Watching that live, it was phenomenal. Extremely well done. Highly recommend it. So if you get a chance to watch Love Actually live, do it. Don't delay. It's really good. Kevin, what about you?
I guess I could think of this couple that just came to my mind. Donald and Daisy Duck. I'm always curious to how does Daisy understand what Donald is talking about when she speaks to her. You hear that weird sound and.
Well, if you go based on the new DuckTales cartoon, they explain why Donald's voice is the way it is. Because normally he sounds like Don Cheadle, and then he has this weird throat thing that makes him sound like Donald.
Wow.
Really?
Normally he sounds like Don Cheadle? Really?
Yeah, because that's who voiced him.
Weird. That's so weird.
That's clever. I like that. Yeah, because everybody else, Scrooge, McDuck, Daisy, even Huey, Dewey, and Louie speak way clearer.
Yeah, he gets hit in the throat or something, and it causes him to talk like that.
Huh. Who knew? I mean, you obviously.
Sorry.
And thousands of people that watched that episode that I obviously did not. Maria, I did trim, I shaved. Yeah. So we did a little something special for this evening that I want to talk to everybody about. We decided to go in a different direction to open this up. Instead of talking about our favorite couples for film and television, we wanted to discuss our least favorite, or just couples that did not work together at all, or just horrible together. Just not a good idea. So let's talk about those. So Kevin, I'm gonna let you take the floor and start us out here with your least favorite couple.
Least favorite or the worst couple too would be
yeah. Least favorite, worst, whatever you want. They're just terrible together.
Well, mine is a very unusual, terrible couple, and that's going to be Ghostface and Sydney from the Scream series.
Oh my God, I think I have a picture of that. Let me pull that up.
I mean, what can you say? It's very unusual because Ghostface...
It's not unusual to be loved by
he just loves her. I mean, the past 25 years, just been chasing. I mean, he literally wants to take her heart out. I mean, really wants it. Really wants it. I mean, he's so much in love with Sydney, stalks her.
Real time, gents. Who has seen the latest version of Scream?
Not I.
I have.
Skip it.
I checked out of the Scream franchise a long time ago, actually. Love the first one, and then kind of just was like, nah.
You didn't like the second one?
I thought it was just like they were just retreading stuff, and it was just like I saw where they were going with it all, and I was like, nah. No, all the first one I think is brilliant, though. I think it's great.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It really is great.
Tonight's hot hit is that I think the Scary Movie franchise is better than the Scream franchise.
You know, it's funny that the original title for Scream was Scary Movie, interestingly enough.
Do you like scary movies, Sydney?
Okay, so what was it? It's Chris Elliott with his little gimpy hand making sweet love to that turkey in all its giblets. I will never have that out of... I will never get that out of my head. Ever. It's just ingrained in there. It's burnt into my brain. And on my deathbed, I'll be like, come here. Great-great-grandson, come here. Because I'll be like 108. Come here. And then I'll be like, did you see that Scream parody Scary Movie where he made love to that turkey? Hiawatha. And then that's how I'll go.
I'm gonna say giblets.
And then they'll look down my pants after I'm dead, and they'll find a turkey. And they'll be like, "Oh my God, why?"
That's pretty scary.
It is.
Terrible.
All right, Chris, hit us with yours.
All right, so I'm gonna go more the platonic route, but not really platonic in the fact that they don't get along at all. We're gonna go with good old Walter White and Jesse Pinkman. They should not ever be in the same room or work together ever, because it's just it is chaotic mess when they're together. I mean, first of all, they get together. Jesse was Walter's student.
Yeah.
Which is an ethical issue, first of all, and then he brings him in to make meth, and the two of them, and I mean, Walter was so obsessed over Jesse that he got so jealous over Jesse's girlfriend that he killed her. Spoilers, people. I mean,
yeah, because they had to cook. Jesse, we have to cook.
So Chris, are you saying that the problem with the relationship is there's too many cooks in the kitchen?
Oh,
too many cooks. Too
many.
No,
that's right. Too many
the problem
cooks.
with the relationship is that Jesse couldn't cook good enough.
That's true.
So real talk. Kevin got introduced to Too Many Cooks last year for the first time around Christmas.
Really?
Oh man.
And I took a video of him just laughing his head off hysterically.
I just rewatched it. It still holds up.
It still holds up. And the killer, I'm friends with him on Facebook.
Oh, you are?
Yeah. Yeah, we've had multiple conversations. He's a good dude. A very good dude. And he's been in a lot of stuff. He was in the recent Suicide Squad.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, he was a prisoner in the prison.
Now I'm kind of thinking I saw him in there. Yeah.
You probably did. Yeah.
He does have a distinguishing look, so yeah.
Very much so. Yes. Yeah. Maria says, "LOL, too many cooks."
Oh man, that thing had me on the floor. That was so funny.
But yeah, anyway, the best thing that ever happened to Jesse in that relationship was Walter getting gunned down. So.
Oh. God, spoilers.
I already said spoilers.
I still haven't seen El Camino either, so don't spoil that. And I haven't finished the other one, Better Call Saul, which I think actually, in a lot of ways, is almost superior.
I agree. Final season premiering in April, everyone.
Yeah, I'm trying to catch up. I need to, actually. I haven't been trying to catch up here lately, but I've been a little busy. I got my parents into, I guess. I don't know. We're watching The Righteous Gemstones.
I love it. I love that show.
It's something else, let me tell you. It is something else. So we're enjoying
it. 1,000 different versions of assholes, and they're all great.
Yeah.
All great. Although, I mean, to me, Walton Goggins' Baby Billy is like, oh, man.
It's like a lot of people I went to school with. It's just very common.
Yeah.
Very common. So we've done Kevin's, we've done Chris's. Jarrett, what's yours?
Well, mine actually, I think, I mean, depending how you look at it, it's one of the worst couples, or it's, one of the most romantic couples, because we never got the inside minutia of the relationship. But my couple for worst is Zed and the Gimp from Pulp Fiction. And you could throw in Maynard too, the other guy who worked there. But I mean, obviously you would think the Gimp's there against his will, living in that box. But then you never know, because he is very well trained, and he does seem to be having fun with them. So maybe it's copacetic, but because I don't know, I can't say it's a good, healthy relationship. So I put it as one of the worst.
Yeah, I can't see that being anything healthy at all, to be honest. Yeah. But
and God forbid when they don't find somebody who wanders into their weird, what was it, like a pawn shop? Their weird pawn shop.
Yeah, something.
And the Gimp is all they have for the night. So I mean, I'm sure that's happened too many nights.
Yeah.
Too many nights.
Too many nights.
So yeah, the Gimp and Zed. Although Zed's dead now, baby. Zed's dead.
Zed's dead. Yeah. Okay, I've got one that actually started out as a very, very good power couple, and then so spoilers for those that have not seen You. and then it just went south so fast, and that is Joe and Love from the Netflix television series, originally a Lifetime television series, by the way, called You, about a serial killer that only kills the women he loves.
Oh,
Wow.
that's sweet.
Wow.
Oh, so Siri just picked up serial killer and pulled it up on my phone, by the way.
And now when the FBI comes to arrest you, they'll be like, look, serial killer searches. Got it.
Well, apparently there's 100 active serial killers at any given time in the
So Joe loves very powerfully, but it comes to a breaking point with him and Love, and the things that happen between the two of them. Shit gets a bit nuts. Let's just say I don't want to spoil it, but they are no good for each other. They should never have gotten married, I guess. They should never have had a kid together. This is just...
It goes that far? Wow.
Yeah, it's just a terrible relationship. And, yeah, the poor child, what happens to the kid, and just everything. The people that surround them, their neighbors, people they care for and love, besides Love. Wow. Bonnie, you couldn't get past the first episode of You, Bonnie? It is great. It is great. It's like if Dexter just, like, wanted to murder everybody after he had sex with him. Like, it's just, okay, I'm done with you now. I was passionately in love with you. Now, moving on. It's really good, though. I highly recommend it. So if you haven't seen You, definitely give it a retry, Bonnie. Just give it a retry. Watch it again. Go in with an open mind and open arms. Give You a big hug. Give it a big hug. And enjoy it, hopefully. Hakeem, thanks for joining. Good evening, sir. Thank you for being a part of this.
What's up?
If you have not given us a thumbs up, a little like love, please feel free to do so, everybody. Also, if you haven't subscribed, give us a little subscribe. Click the subscribe button. Say hello. We're happy to have you do that. In fact, it makes it great for us. Bonnie says, nope, the whole toxic relationship stalker thing was too much for me. Okay, if it's a trigger, totally understand. I get it. And again, I am deeply sorry that I spent all those nights outside of your house, trying to look through your window. Look, I mean, was it my fault, or was it yours? I mean, you had the window.
I think it was when you carved Be My Valentine on your chest. That was just...
Yeah, it's healed up pretty nicely, though, actually. You can't really see it so much. Hey, Juice E. What's going on?
The Juice Man. How you doing?
Nice to see you. Thanks for joining. So Joe and Love, not a very good couple. So let's dive in now to the couples themselves. We're going to actually go over about 3 each, if I recall, of the couples. Before we get started, though, I do want to mention something very quickly. And it'll only take a moment, I promise you. So give me one moment to find this here. There we go. Okay, perfect. I just want to tell everybody out there that I feel you. That I understand you. And that I love you. I can love you. If you only open your heart to me. If you only feel the love that I have to give to you. Kevin, break it down with a song, brother.
Song?
Yes. That song we talked about. Sing it. Sing it, brother Kevin.
Just 10 bars, Kevin, that's all.
Tonight I celebrate my love for you. And I hope I don't get sued tonight.
And since we're talking about love, I just want to mention that this week's audio podcast is going to be about comic books to make love to.
Mm-hmm.
And if you thought I was kidding, here's the picture of the upcoming audio podcast. Yeah, I got Chris looking real pretty for me.
It's like sexy picture right there.
And I can't wait for you all to listen to this beautiful audio podcast coming out this Thursday, baby. On all podcast platforms.
You know what? Chris looks like Dom DeLuise in that picture.
Wow,
Just a
Kevin.
little bit. Just a little bit.
I was trying to see if I could do a Dom DeLuise picture. Or sound. I was like, I can't. No, I can't do it.
Brian says, I think I may puke. No offense. Hakeem says, sing it, brother. And Bonnie says, Kev's going old school. So, thank you for, allowing that to happen. We all had a moment there. Me and everybody out there in podcast land.
I wish Antonio Banderas was around because, he has a very smooth, loving voice. If he would have sung that song.
Well, interestingly enough, he's on the audio podcast this Thursday. You have to listen to it to find out, though.
Wow. Oh, man.
Yeah. Big comic book fan, Antonio Banderas.
Puss in Boots is going to be on the air. That's great.
Oh, yeah. Actually, there's no boots this time.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Lord. So tonight we're talking about our the most celebrated couples of film and television.
Yes, we are.
Real and imagined.
Okay. So let's start out. Let's go clockwise here. Chris, hit us.
Just pick one, I guess.
All right, let's go. Probably one of the oldest relationships on the list. 35 years plus, going strong right now. Is it the 30? No. Well, anyway, it's The Simpsons. It's Marge and Homer.
30-something.
What was it? 89. So what were I at?
33 years.
33. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you count Tracy Ullman, it'll be 35 years. The Tracy Ullman.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Crazy.
That's a long-lasting relationship. I mean, all that shit that Homer does and that Marge puts up with. I mean, she's really, really, really gotta love that man to be able to put up with all that stuff for that many years.
That's her homie.
Zing. Well played, Kevin. Well played.
I mean, they got 3 kids that don't seem to age. He's pretty much worked every single job you can think of, quits all the time, and he's an idiot. And Marge just sticks right by him. I mean, that is like the quintessential love right there. You cannot go wrong with that relationship. And you never think, oh, well, they're trapped. You never feel bad for Marge that she's like married to this oaf, because he's sweet to her. He really is. He does his best with her. It's always sweet, and they always have a lot of sweet moments together. And you're always rooting for them.
Very true. Very true.
I don't know. I don't remember. Have they ever like split up on the show?
I think they have. I once again, like The Simpsons, I tuned out at some point, but my kids got super into it, and we're watching a lot of the more current episodes. And there was an episode I remember where they actually like saw other people and stuff like that, but they always still end up together. But yeah,
wow.
I mean, think about it. They have to do everything with that show. So
yeah.
Yeah.
Wasn't there one where Homer was a road manager for like a country western singer?
Yeah.
And she got super
right.
into him, and then like he got confused, and then he was like, wait, I love Marge. I can't be with you. And she was like, oh, honey, she's a lucky woman, and then, yeah, it was kind of crazy. But yeah, it did happen. It's happened almost a couple times where they've kind of thought about it and not thought about it, and went back to each other. And it just shows the strength of their love for each other. It was Laureline.
Yeah, Laureline, yeah.
Yeah, okay, thanks, Bonnie. Wow, that was fast. Bonnie's on it.
And if you guys want to go back into that world, they just released a digital version of songs in the tune of Springfield, like the old CD back in the day.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Been
Do the
listening to it
Bartman?
on repeat and Apple Music.
I got a bratty brother. He bugs me every day. This morning my old mother gave my last cupcake away. My daddy acts like He belongs in a zoo. Oh, it's true. Sky.
And this couple is why Peter and Lois could not touch this list because they were the originals. Homer
Right.
and
Yes.
Mark.
Yeah.
They did it right. Yeah. Okay, so Jarrett, what's yours?
Let's stick with the past and go even further in the past. Let's go with I Love Lucy, and Ricky Ricardo.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Original TV couple.
The original TV couple, obviously played by Lucille Ball and Desi Arnaz. Now, there is all this like hype, or kind of resurgence of a love of I Love Lucy. I obviously grew up with watching reruns every now and then, but I was always like kind of turned off by it. And obviously I was a kid, so it wasn't really, although a lot of kids did gravitate towards it. But with this whole resurgence, I started learning a lot about them as a couple on and off the screen, and so much like history. And well, first off, they're a badass couple, and she's a badass. Like the first woman to run her own studio, Desilu Productions.
And there's no Star Trek without her.
Right.
No Star Trek, no Mission Impossible, no. There's a couple other things. Like they greenlit so many things that became huge. But just a little of their couple relationship on and off the screen. They met before Lucy became a TV celebrity. She was doing movies. She was a starlet, kind of like a B-rated starlet. And she met Desi while he was doing a movie. I don't know if it was Warner Brothers. I don't know what movie company it was at the time, but they're both under contract. And they met, and people said when they saw them met in this cafeteria, it was instant sparks. Like several people were there and said like, wow, the tension between the sexual tension and the magnetic, pairing of these two was just
palpable.
Amazing. Yeah. And the cool thing is the show got started because Lucy was doing a radio show that was a hit. And they said, hey, we want, TV's becoming this new thing and people are watching television shows and we want to kind of do what you're doing in this radio character with TV. And at that time, her and her husband were working like opposite shifts. Like he was doing like music by night at Ciro's in Hollywood. And she was doing the radio show during the day. So they'd literally meet at the top of a hill and like talk for a little bit and then go their opposite ways. So when she got the show, she said, I want to work with my husband. And they're like, ha, 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 that's funny. Because at this time, an interracial couple, because he's Cuban and she's, white, was unheard of. And she stuck to her gut. And she didn't have a lot of power at this time. And she said, no, I think it'll work. Like, I want to do this. And she convinced them. And I Love Lucy was born in 1951, I believe. And the show was the biggest show on TV for all the years it was. I think it was 1951 to 1957 before they did like the spinoffs and stuff. But the show was a huge hit. Another groundbreaking thing that she got pregnant for her second time during the filming of the show. They introduced and they said, no, we cannot have a pregnant woman for real. And because then people are going to ask how she got pregnant because for some reason.
Oh, yeah. The beds had to be separated. Yeah.
Definitely had to be separated.
Yep. So they got that greenlit and she was pregnant and,
little Ricky.
Yeah. And the show was just a huge hit. They were a badass couple. And the thing that I think that gets sad is that you hear a lot of like, oh, they were this horrible couple because Desi was a philanderer and all that, which is true. He totally was. But he was raised in this Cuban macho culture to be like that. Like he was sleeping with like prostitutes when he was like a kid. Like that's how he was introduced to.
Wow.
But if you
much like Kevin,
if you really want to hear the story more than the movie being the Ricardos, which I think is great, there's a podcast called The Plot Thickens, and they kind of do old Hollywood stories. And the last one they did was Lucy and Desi, and it really tells the power of their relationship. And even up until when he was dying on the phone and they weren't together anymore, they were still saying, "I love you, I love you, I love you," until they parted. So just such a powerful couple on and off the screen. So they had to be on our list. And
yeah, for those that live in LA and want to go check it out, I think it's in Culver City. Their old studio is still there. It's not named that, obviously, but it's still there. You can walk past it. It's beautiful. and it is a part of the rich history of Culver City. You can actually go to the Culver Hotel as well, where all the Munchkins stayed when they were filming The Wizard of Oz as well, which I thought was super cool. It was totally awesome. Into. Yeah, and plus, for those that are like ghost hunters, the Culver Hotel's supposed to be haunted as shit, too. So it's like a win-win-win. Like it's a great destination. Culver City, man. Great.
Yeah, Desilu Studios. Yeah, it's still there. Still there.
Kevin, what do you got?
Well, I think I'm going to come back into somewhat more recent times. I'm going to go with the classic wrestling couple, Macho Man Randy Savage and Miss Elizabeth.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah! Ooh, yeah!
I love this one. I love this one because there was not a relationship stronger between a man and a woman in wrestling than those two.
These two. Oh, my goodness. You know, in the late 80s to the early 90s, this was the wrestling couple. And in real life, of course, they were married for a part of the time as well. But the crowd, I mean, you really saw the magnetic, the magnetism between these two. I mean, the storyline as you followed that involved, especially when Hulk Hogan teamed up with Macho Man, the jealousy that Macho Man had when the Hulkster was there. And then eventually when Macho Man separated from her and hooked up with Sensational Sherry. And then the episode when they reunited and Elizabeth beat the hell out of Sherry. I mean, the crowd was losing its mind. People were crying. I mean, this is like the power couple.
Yeah.
And, we'll never forget them. They're very special. God rest their souls. I mean, both of them died tragically in real life, unfortunately. Yeah. But they're just a dynamic couple that you can never forget as a kid or as a teenager whenever you were following this particular couple. Macho Man and Miss Elizabeth, there was something special. You'll never see it again.
They were like Beauty and the Beast to me, like as a kid. It was like, because she barely talked. She was just always like
smiling,
and then he was just this, raging psychopath.
Yeah, pretty much.
Frank says when the Royal Rumble wedding happened, they were actually splitting up. Huh.
Yeah, in real life, that's true.
That kind of sucks. Vince is an asshole. I mean.
Oh, they love that. So he loves that stuff. He's like, "Oh, there's real drama. Let's do it." Like,
yeah. That's correct.
Yeah. He would get really dark. Like I remember with the with Legion of Doom Road Warriors, Hawk had like a drinking problem, and they did some skit with him coming in drunk or something like that. I was like, man, why would you do that? That's just going way too far.
Yeah, that's a little much. Okay, so I'm gonna go with a classic, one that I love. I've loved since I was a kid. Whenever I think of couples in and outside of the comic book world, television and film, I can't think of a stronger, more powerful couple, more perfect for each other in every way than Lois and Clark. Lois and Clark are he's the yin to her yang. I don't know what else to say. They were both reporters. She was up and coming, like the head, lead star of the Daily Planet, and he was the hungry, junior, rookie trying to get his credit and get his due, so to speak. I do think that pound for pound, she's the better reporter, and I think they had to make that obvious because otherwise, what would she have one up on Superman with? Even with Superman's skills, even with his X-ray vision, even with his ultra hearing, being a superhero and writing about himself, he still can't top Lois as a reporter, and I think that's amazing. She can always lord that over him. Hon, you might be faster than me, and better cook, and stronger than me, but I'm always going to be a better reporter. and that's just one thing that just shows that it doesn't upset him to have somebody better than him at something. He loves that about her, and he loves her for who she is. He loves her for her tenacity, her moxie, for her strength, for everything that she brings to the table in and outside of their relationship. And he was smitten from the start, and it's been a wonderful ride to watch them from early on relationship all the way up to the wedding and beyond. And now that they have a son and they're caring for that son and taking care of him, And in the television world, they have 2 sons. 2! And it's crazy that that's happened. It's just been fun to see this relationship blossom and to see them actually age the characters more to the point where they can have a child. And I appreciated that, and I felt like it was time. I know that there's probably, since this comic's been around since the 30s, there's a lot of people that are passed on that are probably screaming in their graves like, it's about time, like they had a kid. Because they were probably waiting for that, and it never freaking happened. And now it's happened, and it's a beautiful thing. The only thing I disagree with is the aging of the child in the comic books. I felt like he grew up way too fast. He should still be 8 or 9. He shouldn't be like 15, 16, 17. It's too much, too soon, as far as the progression in time in the comics. But anyway, Lois and Clark, great couple.
And his tether to humanity for Superman.
Yeah.
Like that's what keeps him kind of grounded. Because we've seen in Injustice, the like kind of alternate story, what happens when Lois goes away.
Yeah.
Superman gets angry and
right.
smash.
Yep. Yeah. And how Bill so eloquently put it in Kill Bill Volume 2. Superman is not who Clark Kent is, but that's his natural form, but not who he is. Clark Kent is the disguise that he puts on, but that's who he wants to be. That's who his life is, and I found that to be kind of beautiful. That
I love that. Yeah.
His base is always going to be Superman because that's his history. He's from Krypton. That's how he has these powers, so on and so forth. But he strives to be a better Clark Kent each and every day, and that's wonderful. It's beautiful, and I applaud them. Chris, yours?
We're round 2 now.
Yeah, round 2, buddy.
All right, so when you talk about romance, you got to think about one show that's been in pop culture the last few years. And that'd be Game of Thrones. They had a lot of romantic relationships. You could think of things like
Egret and Jon.
John and Egret, or Gilly and Sam, who was a really cute couple, or some one night stands like Arya and Gendry, or Tyrion and all of the horrors in Westeros.
Khal Drogo and Khaleesi.
Yeah, but the problem
at one point,
the problem is most of these relationships end early because of death. There is, however, one relationship that lasts all 8 seasons of the show, and it starts in episode 1 and ends in the last episode of the show, and that would be brother and sister combo Jaime and Cersei Lannister.
Lovers and brothers and sisters. Yes. It's a bit incestual, but their love for each other is so strong it's hard for any audience member to deny that this was a true relationship.
However, you could almost make the argument that it's also probably a horrible couple, seeing as how Jaime literally kills Cersei, but spoilers. But at the same time,
you should say it before. Just saying.
Nobody's watching Game of Thrones or Breaking Bad after this.
No,
they haven't seen.
Or our podcast.
At the same time, it's like it's like it lasts 8 series. It's the only. I think it's the longest relationship in the show. I mean, Gilly and Sam are the only ones that survive the relationship, but still, it's an 8-season relationship, and you can really see they had 3 children off of that relationship.
True.
And actually, probably the way they talk is probably more than that, but only 3 survived. It's really is like a model relationship in the sense of it being the love and passion they have for each other, even though it's completely wrong. And like I said, it does lead ultimately to death, but
it's a good couple, sort of. Chris, quick question about Sam. At what point in the episode did he time travel into the future and then fight aliens on the moon? I'm confused.
That was when he told John he told John he wanted to be a magician, right? So he went to the Citadel and he learned magic, and that's when Merlin showed up and taught him how to time travel.
Okay.
And then he went to the future. So
is this some kind of
complete
crossover
sense.
episode? I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah, this was the 8.5 that we never.
Oh,
so Hakeem says
it was a deleted scene.
Hakeem says I still haven't gotten around to watching Game of Thrones yet. Still not convinced I should. Kevin?
I would say, in my humble opinion, watch the first 6 seasons. After that, just pretend like nothing else happened. Pretend that it ended at the end of season 6.
I agree.
I feel like you still have to go through the whole thing, and everybody that you tell not to still will. It's like saying, finish season 4 of Dexter and don't move forward. Everybody's still going to go forward, even though they absolutely should not.
Yes.
Sean says, hey kids. Hey Sean, thanks for joining.
What's
Good
up,
to see you,
Sean?
buddy. So Cersei and Jaime Lannister. Okay. Jarrett, yours.
Let's do this couple behind me. This is the biggest, I would say, the most cult couple on this list. And I definitely fought for them. This is Clarence
You did
Worth,
fight for them.
Alabama Whitman from the movie True Romance.
Yeah, you fought hard.
This is Quentin Tarantino's very first screenplay. He was trying to sell it to direct and could not get anybody. He was unknown at the time. Finally sold it to somebody, and I think he got his first car with that money. And then later he meets Tony Scott, the director, through another production friend, and that person's like, you got to meet this Quentin kid. He's got all these great scripts. So he shows him his scripts, and he says, oh, I want to do all of them. Tony Scott says, I want to do every single one of them. And he goes, well, I'm doing Reservoir Dogs. I want to direct that one. And he goes, well, do you have any others? He goes, well, I sold True Romance for $7,000 to somebody, whatever the minimum was at that time. And so Tony Scott found it and bought it and made the movie. And if you look at the cast in this film, especially for the 90s, it's insane. It's Samuel L. Jackson, Christian Slater, Patricia Arquette, Gary Oldman, Brad Pitt, James Gandolfini, Christopher Walken, Dennis Hopper, and the list goes on and on. But what drew me to this film was the relationship between Clarence and Alabama. It's obviously a young Quentin Tarantino having a fantasy, because Clarence is this guy who is obsessed with Elvis to the point where he actually talks to Elvis. He works at a comic book store, and one day he meets this girl who is just fawning all over him, and he's like, I don't understand what's going on. Turns out she's a call girl that was hired by the owner of the comic shop to kind of have make his birthday special, and they fall in love head over heels for real, and then it just goes Quentin Tarantino apeshit style. But the relationship between these two is so sweet, so real, and the movie has got this cult following behind it because it was one of those films where it didn't do good in the box office for some reason, but it did amazingly well when it came out on VHS and on cable. I didn't see it in the theater. I saw True Romance and I was like, oh, that sounds lame. It's going to be some romantic comedy or something like that. No idea what kind of film it was, and because it was actually True Romance named after the pulp comics of the time, True Romance. And those kind of
that makes sense because it's comic shop connection.
Yeah, and especially pulp. You go Pulp Fiction next. Is what So, but their relationship is so brutally they're basically like little kids. If you look at it, the way their love is, it's just completely I'll do anything for you. It's like a Romeo and Juliet thing, except they're old enough to be together, and their families don't care if they're together. But I can't recommend it enough. It's my favorite film.
And I think that's Gary Oldman is one of his finest performances in that movie.
Yeah, this movie is what made me want to be an actor. I already was doing acting, but it made me seeing Gary Oldman. I walked in on this film and my dad was watching it. This is when I was 10, 11 or whatever, 12 maybe. And we're watching it and I'm like, oh, it was so good it sucked me in. So I'm watching it. I'm actually watching this scene where they're in the movie theater and I'm like, this looks kind of good. I like Christian Slater. She's beautiful. It was the first time I ever saw Patricia Arquette. And then it gets to the scene with Gary Oldman, and he plays a pimp who thinks he's black and nails it. And I remember my dad going, yeah, that's the guy who plays, because Dracula had just come out. He goes, that's Dracula. I go, how does he play Dracula in this? How do you do that? The magic of acting. So yeah, no, it made me a lifelong fan of Gary Oldman for sure. But
and Tony Scott directed the movie, right?
What's that?
Tony Scott directed that movie, right?
Tony Scott directed it. Quentin Tarantino wrote the screenplay. It's and Hans Zimmer does this amazing score that is just beautiful.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
We've got some comments. Rob says True Romance, a Satara favorite. Happy Valentine's, my sweet loves, Rob. Oh, that's very sweet, Rob. Sean says Tarantino used the money from the True Romance script to fund Reservoir Dogs, and the True Romance script was written out of order like Pulp Fiction. Tony Scott put it in order.
Right.
Interesting.
And there was also a tome that was actually, he wrote like almost like a novel of this. This was basically what became True Romance and Natural Born Killers.
Cool.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Kevin, do you have another film you'd like to discuss, or a couple?
Sure. Let's go with probably the most powerful and most well-known couple in space, at least for space opera movies, and that's Han Solo and Leia Organa.
Now, at least you didn't say Luke and Leia.
No.
I was fighting hard for that relationship, guys.
No.
Chris is very into that.
I know. I think we've had enough of incestuous relationships for this evening.
Hey, you love somebody, you love somebody.
Real quick before you go into it, Kevin.
Yeah.
Did George Lucas ever come out and say that from the beginning he knew that they were going to be brother and sister?
It turns out they made a switch a little bit later. It was never planned that way from the beginning.
Okay. Because as a kid, I watched it. I was like, they're a couple. Like, they're Luke and Leia. Yay! Like,
it makes sense, right? Luke and Leia.
It makes sense that they didn't know each other, seeing as how they didn't even know that Vader was his father. Sorry, spoilers. Until
damn it, another one.
Come on, man.
God damn it!
They were writing the second script. So
I was gonna watch The Empire Strikes Back tonight, and now you ruined it.
Hey, quick question, Rob. You're in the chat there. Are you on Harry Met Sally or Sleepless in Seattle? Because might I throw out some alternatives as well? One of them being Romancing the Stone.
Oh, that's a great couple.
Think about it, baby. Yeah. Sexy, and adventure and fun. But I digress. Luke and Leia.
Princess
Han and Leia. Luke and Leia or Han and Leia? I would say, yeah, you got to go with Han because, he's not related. It's interesting how they brought that back around. In fact, it's very interesting how so many people worked so hard to kind of save the intricacy of the Star Wars universe after the first, second, and third episodes came out. What they've done with some of these characters is phenomenal. In fact, turning Leia into a badass general that kind of runs the show is really cool, and Han kind of like being far away and like, I don't want anything to do with any of this shit. I'm done fighting this war. You could see that organic split kind of taking place of him being like, I don't want to fight anymore. Let's just go off and be together. And her probably saying, no, it's my duty. It's my responsibility as a Skywalker to do this, and that's the only thing that's kind of sad, but also very heartwarming.
Personally, if it was up to me, if I had written the sequel trilogy, I would have had her become Chancellor of the New Republic. That would have made more sense to me. Because her mother... Would you have
put her in a nice, beautiful dress and kind of purpley lavender hair and just had her useless?
Like her mother. Brother was a politician. So.
No, not like her mother. I'm talking about the lady that was in that episode that just had the ship kept going and she's they're catching us, and she just kept did nothing. Yeah.
So did because they do kind of play on the what happened between that couple a little bit, or they insinuate. So were they alluding that Han was a deadbeat dad and that she was kind of like
apparently
a kind of distant mother or a absentee mother? Kind of?
I think so. Maybe. Yeah.
Apparently.
Yeah. That's the way it feels.
Luke's like, I can't raise your kid for you. I can teach him, Jedi stuff. But
honestly, yeah, we need something in between. We're gonna have a 6-episode short series from Disney Plus that's going to have that.
We probably will, and they'll digitally de-age.
Right.
They'll hologram Princess Leia, and they'll digitally de-age Han.
Probably.
Yes, they will. Yes, they will. Okay, so I'm going to throw out one here. This one to me, geez. When you think of goth love, of like love from a side of perversity, but from a side of pureness, you can't think of a better, stronger couple than Morticia and Gomez Addams.
Oh.
Yeah.
Now, which version, sir? Are you talking about the 1960s version or the 1990s version?
Well, the picture that you so graciously supplied us with is the 90s version, and I feel is probably the strongest as far as showcasing their strength in a relationship together. So I'm going to go with that. I'm going to go with the first.
And God rest the soul of Raul Julia.
And speaking of Addams family values, their values was the strength in their marriage and the bond that they held together and the unity of their family. I mean, Uncle Fester, Cousin It, all of the Addamses, all the family would always get together. It was like a family reunion every 2 minutes. And it was wonderful. And they're such a beautifully strong couple. I don't know, like, he would die for her and she would die for him. And they would not hesitate 1 second. I think, honestly, this couple would probably top Lois and Clark as far as the strength of their love and what they were willing to do for each other. It would be tough, but I feel like Morticia and Gomez Addams might edge it out just simply because they're willing to do, like, I don't know if Lois would eat a piece of shit for Clark, but I know Gomez would eat a piece of shit for Morticia. You know what I mean? Like they would do.
Not in episode 36.
Issue 36 of Action Comics. But you know what I mean.
Yeah. Hi, Leo. We are live.
We've got a couple people that popped in here. Evan says, "Hi guys, can you all say hi to my son Leo? I don't think he understands it's live." So yes, Leo.
Leo.
Leo, I'm also a Leo. I was born in August, so good name, buddy. Thanks for joining. This is a live show, yes. Sean says, love from perversity, but also pureness. Sounds like Snow White and Prince Charming. I can see that in a way, sure. Let's see. I could also think of if you want to get dark, Sean. If you want to get dark, Sleeping Beauty. She did not ask to be kissed, and he did not give, like, she didn't give permission. He didn't even ask for, permission. Like, so there's that, too. Anyway, Morticia and Gomez Addams. Anybody else have anything you want to say?
No, just the original goth couple. Yeah, for sure.
You got it. Chris, next one for you, sir.
All right, I'm going to go with what I feel is, in my opinion, is the most romantic out of all of the choices on our list, and that is a classic romantic comedy. I've yet to meet a single person who hasn't liked this movie, and that is Wesley and Princess Buttercup from Princess Bride.
I don't like the movie.
What? You're lying.
Can you kick him out of this podcast right now?
Just for that, sing this to you. Our love is like a story.
Anyway, Buttercup and Wesley.
There, I kicked him off. He's gone.
All right, cool. It's such a romantic couple. I mean, all he kept saying is the same thing over and over and over and over and over again. And I mean, I want somebody that just says the same thing over and over and over again to me. As you wish. I mean, he just says, whatever you want, I will give it to you. He travels the earth to save her from the evil prince. and it's I don't know, it's super romantic in my opinion. I love the movie. It's probably one of my favorite movies of all time.
Chris, is this a kissing book?
Yes.
Okay. All right, Grandpa, you can tell the story still. Go on.
Yeah, Fred Savage was pretty savage in this.
And even though it's quirky and goofy, it's still has some really romantic, good moments in it.
And honestly, we can't forget about the strength in the love between Fred Savage and Peter Falk, aka grandson and grandfather, as he's reading him this story, and at the end he goes, as you wish.
As you wish.
And that's beautiful. That's I know a lot of people don't have the relationships with their dads or with their, family and stuff that they would like. And they would like to have been able or to be able to say things like that to another man. I tell my dad I love him all the time. But it's interesting to see that. You know what I mean? Like, you don't see that often. So grandson and grandfather, I just thought it was beautiful. So I put them right in there with Wesley and Buttercup because that's an extension of who they are within the story as well. You
could even say in you go, and what was Andre's name, the giant?
Jesus, what was his name?
Fennec or
yeah,
Fennec?
I think it was something like that, Phoenix or something. Yeah. Fezzik.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you, Bonnie. She says the other great relationship is Fezzik and Inigo. Yeah. So she had it too. Good job.
Yeah.
Frank says, as you wish. Frank, as you wish, right back to you, buddy.
Yeah. If you don't like Princess Bride, you're missing like a soul, I think.
Possibly. Well, since I kicked Kevin off and then brought him back in, Kevin is now after Chris. So, Kevin, you get to go next, buddy.
I get to go next?
Yeah, you get to go next because
it's your last one.
I literally did kick you off for a moment and then brought you back in.
Wow, that's messed up. That's cold-blooded.
Well, you were talking sass.
Can't take a joke. I will go with the couple that I believe influenced Homer and Marge, and that is Fred and Wilma Flintstone.
Oh, yeah, for sure. They're the original animated couple.
Mm-hmm.
Based off of the Honeymooners, right?
Yes, I believe so. Based off the Honeymooners. I mean, Wiki-a-goo, yabba dabba doo time. I mean, Fred Flintstone.
The first animated primetime series.
Yeah. What's that?
The first animated primetime series.
I was just going to say, primetime, yeah. Yeah.
And you can't go wrong with this beautiful couple from the great town of Bedrock. Fred and Wilma. Fred, a little hot-headed, has great love for his Dino dinosaur type dog, and is a hard worker at the Slate Rock and Gravel Company. And you know what? His wife Wilma, very sweet, very intelligent, could be a little jealous at times, but also very, very loyal. They're a great couple. And of course, they had the beautiful Pebbles Flintstone, who would later marry, was it Bam Bam? Yeah,
it was Bang Bang.
Are you sure? No, I'm just kidding. It's Bam Bam.
Bam Bam.
But great classic TV show from the cartoons. You could never go wrong. I mean, I used to eat the chewable vitamins when I was a kid.
Really? 10 million strong and growing. So you were one of the 10 million.
Yes, I was one of the 10 million that grew strong.
And growing.
But what can you say? Great couple. And of course, to spin off the Jetsons, probably like their future, descendants. I'm assuming the Jetsons are.
Yeah.
So can't go wrong. Great classic show. Just like I Love Lucy. You can't go wrong. The Flintstones, great cartoon.
Just like you can't go wrong with the Flintstones, you can't go wrong with a great beer from Splattered Frog. That's right, Splattered Frog Brewing. You go to splatteredfrog.com, type in the coupon code SHORTBOX, and save 20% off on your order, guys. That's great. That is amazing. Splattered Frog Brewing. Enjoy.
That beer must be really good, huh?
The beer is delicious. Delicious. All right, Jarrett, let's hit it.
All right, my last one, sticking in the world of animation. You cannot ever go wrong with the classic couple of Mickey Mouse and Minnie Mouse.
Great.
To the audience, real quick, let's see in the chat. Does anybody know Mickey's original name before he was Mickey Mouse? And does anybody know Minnie Mouse's actual full name? What is Minnie short for?
Oh man, if Katie was in the chat,
Katie was here,
nailed this.
Oh, she'd nail it. Yeah, she'd nail it.
But let's see if anybody else. I have faith in Bonnie.
But I'll leave that. You guys can come back to it. But so Mickey Mouse and Minnie Mouse. Mickey Mouse was created obviously by Walt Disney. He was working for Universal for the time, and he had created a character named Oswald the Lucky Rabbit. And what he found out was that he didn't own Oswald the Lucky Rabbit, which he thought he did. This guy named Charles Mintz did, who was kind of the in-between guy between Universal and Walt. So Walt was super sad and super pissed off. He's like, I created that character, we did all the work, and Charles Mintz is like, it's mine. And then it made me think about it. In Up, the bad guy's name is Charles Muntz. I always wondered if that was like on purpose, like some Disney people are kind of putting that guy as the evil villain, like a spin-off on that.
So Sean beat Bonnie by just seconds with Mortimer.
Mortimer is correct. He was called Mortimer Mouse, and he went to his wife, Diane, and Diane was like, that's a terrible name. Mortimer sounds horrible. How about something cuter like Mickey? And he said, oh, Mickey Mouse. That's great.
Yeah.
And what about Minnie's original name or full name?
Minnie's full name is anybody?
Yeah, I know what it is.
No one's commented yet.
Let's see. We'll wait. We'll wait for someone to figure it out.
Wait. But so Mickey and Minnie, actually, the cool thing about them is they were created at the same time, because there's an old 1928 sketch of character designs that Walt was toying with, and there's Mickey, what would become Mickey Mouse, and there's a girl, a female mouse, in the corner. So they were created on the same piece of paper at the same time, and they both appeared in the very first cartoons together. Minnie was in, there was one that was called, I think, Plain Crazy. That was technically the first Mickey Mouse cartoon, but it didn't get produced until after Steamboat Willie.
Yeah.
So Steamboat Willie was the first produced one that we saw. There's also one called like Gaucho something.
You know, one of my favorite things is you can still go to Disneyland to this day, and they have a theater that you can go inside and you can watch those original films.
Old Mickey cartoons. They were gonna, I think, do something, get rid of it or put something else there, and people were like, nope. You're keeping that there.
Nope. First of all, it's inside. It's air conditioned.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a big win there.
So one really cool thing that I thought about Minnie and Mickey that was really cool is, so Mickey obviously was always in cartoons for a while. Minnie kind of went in and out, and then they brought her back. She actually wasn't like doing anything. She was just the damsel in distress for a while, and Mickey would save her. So she really didn't have many lines. And Walt Disney actually originally did both their voices. He did Minnie and Mickey, which I thought was cool. But in the 70s, hang on one second, I want to get the voice right. In 1986,
Jared.
Okay. In 1977, a new guy started. Wayne Allwine was voicing Mickey, and then in 1986, a woman named Russie Taylor inherited the role of Minnie Mouse. And then the crazy thing is, in real life, that couple got married. So the voices of Mickey Mouse and Minnie Mouse were married in real life for the duration of their careers. He was Mickey from 1977 until his death in 2009, and she voiced Minnie Mouse from 86 to 2019 until her death.
Wow.
So they were married, a married couple, and voicing Mickey and Minnie Mouse for like over 20 years.
That's supposed to be a secret.
No, that's not true, Mickey. But yeah, classic couple, created at the same time. They were destined to be together, and have been since 1928. From page to screen.
Speaking of a hot couple, let's talk about Half's Hot Sauce. Go to www.halfshotsauce.com. Type in the coupon code Donald Hiccups for 10% off on your order. You can get some real sexy sauces, guys. They are not used for personal lubricants. I just want to make that very clear. That will send you to the emergency room.
Goes great with your colon. So
right, but it will make a smooth exit out the
inside
backside.
out, not outside in, please. Yeah.
Right, exactly. So Donald Hiccups, get the code and enjoy the deliciousness that is Half's hot sauce. So, and also, the Real Short Box did make an appearance on one of their podcasts recently, where I did some hot sauce tastings on their podcast that they have. So I will post the link a little later so everybody can take a look and enjoy. So you have to be on our social media in order to do that. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Find us, The Real Short Box. We're on there. Okay, so that was Jarrett's final. My final one.
Before we move on, I want to know what Minnie's real name was.
Oh, okay,
Minerva.
yeah.
Sure. Kevin, you have
Yeah, it was Minerva, right?
Minerva, which is her full name, but it's rarely used. Like they barely.
Interesting.
Ever say it.
Yeah, I would not use that full name either.
Minerva Mouse.
Okay, so my final choice for power couple is oh, wrong picture. That's Chris and me again. Sorry, guys. That's our audio podcast. It's coming out on Thursday for Comics to Make Love to. You'll really want to check it out. It's on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, you name it, it's on it. Just love it. Check it out. It'll also be on YouTube, by the way. So I digress here. Let me pull it up. Now this one took a while. It was a simmer, a slow kind of a sauce that was being made, or some kindling that really needed to be put on to create that flame, that love that needed to blossom between. That's right, Mulder and Scully from the X-Files. Now I know some of you are like, what? But think about it. Like, these guys had the most opposing view you could ever think of. Scully being from a standpoint of science, everything is explainable, to Mulder saying, no, not everything is explainable. There is stuff out there in the world that we don't know that could be amazing and unexplainable. For those two to get together brings hope to everybody out there in podcast land that's watching us right now. If you think
that the truth is out there?
Yes, the truth is, yes, buddy. The truth is out there. For those that don't think that there's anybody out there for them, if Scully can find Mulder and the two of them can fall for each other, there is hope for you. Trust me, there is hope for you to find that love of your life, to find the person that you believe in. And I will say that till the ends of the earth. Mulder and Scully, the things that they've seen, the things that they've gone up against, and to still want to be romantically involved with each other is kind of crazy.
The cigarette smoking man.
Cancer man, yeah. The cancer man, basically. He's not in this relationship. It's just between the two of them, Kevin. If you would like a threesome, there are sites for that. You can get on your phone and look it up, I'm sure.
Yeah, there's one I write called Cancer Man Likes to Watch. It's just, smoke watching. Yeah. Yeah, well, there you go. Yeah, if you like people to watch, Kevin, you can certainly find somebody. Back in the day, it probably would have been on, what is that site? The website, what was it? You know what I'm talking about, Craigslist. Yeah, Craigslist. Right.
You'll be able to find it on Craigslist, Kevin, but not probably anymore. Now you're going to have to go with apps on your phone, but it's still there available for you if you would like.
I see.
Yes. And I like how you've placed yourself between those two wine glasses. It's very romantic.
Thank you.
When we talk about romance, there is just one thing I want to mention to you all. I love every one of you. I can love every one of you. In fact, Chris loves every one of you.
Are you like Brother Love from the WWF?
Kevin.
You just love everybody?
Kevin loves every one of you. Jarrett loves every one of you. In fact, let's get you in a room with us. See what happens. It could be magic. There could be something special. Let me just take this picture down. It's distracting, baby. There could be something very special. between the 5 of us. You know what I'm saying? Just show you what we can do. Chris is a master of many things, and you'd be surprised at his prowess. Kevin, you will succumb to Kevin's charms very
I don't know
easily.
about that.
Very easily. Don't let him whisper in your ear, that's all I have to say. And Jarrett, oh sweet white chocolate Jarrett, oh my lord in heaven. Don't get too close, because you might melt from that. Of course there's me, quite the charmer myself. And I have a lot to teach you. That's right.
Careful with that candle, sir.
Anyway,
Blow
I'm just
up
saying.
that candle, man, for safety. Blow it out for safety.
I'm just saying thank you all for watching and being out here and being a part of the Real Short Box. No Peter Parker and Mary Jane, Frank, I'm sorry. Hakeem, happy Valentine's Day to Flora as well. From all of us to her. I know you loved her, buddy. And we care for you. We really do. Seriously.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you for watching us and tuning in, everybody, and being a part of this Real Short Box. And perhaps, when we don't see you, we'll be sad. But hopefully we do see you. And if we do,
It'll be at the always romantic, jolly, joyous, but never jealous comic book show.
good night, everybody.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Be safe out there, brothers and sisters. Be safe out there.
Good night, guys. Bye!